Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zach Moonshine with Metal Devastation Radio, and right now on the phone with me I have Aid Mulgrew from Darkest Era. How are you doing today, Aid?
Pretty good, man. Cheers, yeah. Thanks a lot.
All right. So, Aid, tell us what's going on in the world of Darkest Era.
Yeah, we're just gearing up for the release of our second album. It's coming out in a couple of weeks now, so yeah, we're very excited. We're busy posting stuff online, leaking out tracks, doing interviews, and rehearsing the new live set. So yeah, we're really busy. The busiest we've been in the past year. So it's good. It's a good time.
Right on. Well, I want to ask you. How did this band get started, and how did you guys develop your sound?
We started in school, really. We basically, the original lineup, we all went to school in the same town, and it was pretty small. Like, population was maybe 6,000 or 7,000. So anybody that was into metal, and especially anybody that was playing an instrument and into metal, pretty much knew each other. So we were maybe 16, 17, had played in a couple of covers bands, and decided we wanted to form a metal band and write songs, and we sort of just found each other that way. So yeah, we just went from there. We started off, doing covers as most bands do. Thin Lizzy, Iron Maiden, Bathory, I think there was some Anthrax, Black Sabbath, System of a Down and stuff. Sort of a wide range of things. And then we started writing our own stuff. But at that point, pretty much we just wanted to be in a band, just wanted to be in a metal band and play gigs. There wasn't really a grand design at that point when you're that young, at least for us. So, but when we started writing songs, almost straight away, it became apparent that there was a natural, slight sort of Celtic leaning, a sort of a Thin Lizzy influence, which we all sort of shared. And that ended up sort of permeating the writing from there on. So it just went from there, just everybody bringing influence to the table, and just trying to learn how to write songs and be a really, really good band.
Nice. So you guys have been jamming together for quite a while now.
Yeah, well, myself and Crumb, who's our singer, we played together in a covers band before we formed. So I think I was maybe 15, and I'd just been playing guitar for a year. And Crumb was still sort of learning how to sing, and was very formative as well. So yeah, we go back 11 years probably, which is a fair amount of time. And then yeah, Sarah's been there from the start as well, and we wrote our first songs together. So the three of us have sort of been writing together and playing songs for a long time. And it's been our main band and our main focus this whole time. So we have a lot of experience together, and I guess as a result, there's quite tight bonds between us all. We know each other very well. We're very good friends outside of the band too. But yeah, there's really close bonds there.
Nice. Yeah, when the promoter sent it over, I was kind of under the impression that it was like a new band. So I was listening to it, but then when I was listening to it right away, I noticed, I was like, well, the chemistry on there, you can tell it's definitely, you guys got some really tight chemistry going on there. So
yeah, I think that comes across. I mean, especially the fact that we've got this sort of twin guitar, twin lead thing going on. For that really to work well, you need to have a kind of an intuitive understanding with the other guitarist, and it's something that really only comes down to chemistry and through playing together. I can't imagine playing this sort of stuff with another guitarist apart from Sarah, because we just have this understanding. A lot of the time we'll be jamming in the rehearsal room, and it sounds like a cliche, but it's true. Each of us will know exactly where the other person's going to go with a melody line or something, and we'll be just both improvising and harmonizing on the spot, which is crazy, but it's just it just works. So I'm glad you picked up on that. But there is I guess a kind of cohesiveness there that just comes from us playing together for quite a while.
That's really cool. The record sounds great too, man. I mean, there's tons of dynamics to it. Every song has its own personality, it seems. I really like it a lot.
Cool, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
What can you tell me about what was the recording process like on this record as opposed to the other one?
Well, it was definitely different. I mean, again, it's like a cliche, but you have your whole life to write your first album, and then after that you'll do tours and start to play more shows, and then all of a sudden you have a very short space of time to bring together a whole new bunch of songs. And it's, that's why they say difficult second album, because it's true. But added to the mix as well, though, I mean, it was a very turbulent sort of time for the band. We were undergoing some lineup changes, so there was a lot of tension there. It was 2012, I think. 2012 was a really unstable year for us, basically, to the point where things almost came off the rails on a number of occasions. So really, the writing process was done in a very short space of time. It was about 10 or 11 weeks of really solid writing, and then into the studio to record for about 16 days, which is the total opposite of the first record, where we had some of the songs probably 4 or 5 years before we went into the studio, and we knew them like the back of our hands. So it was totally different in that respect. You've just got to kind of pull it out of the bag in the face of adversity or whatever. But we're pleased with how it came out. I mean, we just worked our asses off in the studio essentially, because we came in with the songs, and some of them were, we had the basis of most of the songs, but some of them sort of needed finished and arranged, and there was a lot of lyrics to be writing. So it was a lot more intense, the recording process, than the first record. We were basically working from 10 or 11 a.m. until 2 or 3 a.m. the next morning, and then getting up and doing it again, and just working constantly. So there was this kind of weird reality shift where you're just in this place, just working on this album with like no downtime. We were isolated, on the coast of the west of Ireland, where there was nothing for miles. So it was just like this, literally just this album. So, we still find time to go to the off license and grab cases of beer and drink the shit out of those. So it was a weird experience. It was very, very intense and pretty, emotionally draining, I have to say. But I think we came out the other side with a really strong album, and something that we knew we were very proud of.
Yeah. I definitely, I got a feeling we're going to hear a lot more about this record and this band.
Well, hopefully. I mean, it's
for sure.
We had our first album came out on Metal Blade 2011, and we were a completely unknown prospect really, and it sort of it took a lot of people by surprise. So this is just building on that and taking us to hopefully the next step. But I think it'll hopefully propel us on another stage.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. You guys were on Metal Blade Records, and now you're on Cruz del Sur.
Yes. Yeah.
How did that transition go for you, and what can you tell us about that?
Well, it's just the nature of sadly of the music industry these days. Like, Metal Blade's main artists are selling over the course of their career. Metal Blade's top artists have sold millions for them. And like I say, we were a demo band that were unknown from this like really uncool little corner of Europe. So we were sort of a wild card. And I have to say the record did sell quite well. Like it sold more than probably the label initially thought it was going to, and what we thought it was going to. But over the course of the year and a half or 2 years or whatever it was, the landscape is just changing again, and the bigger labels sadly are having to streamline, and that unfortunately means losing some of the underground bands that might potentially in a couple of albums' time be doing X amount of business, but you just take a little bit of time to get there, or maybe underground or whatever. 20 years ago, a label will sort of, they'll look at a band over maybe 2 or 3 albums worth, and they'll sort of look at it on a more of a long-term sort of scale, but it's just not what happens these days. So that's the way it went, and it's a kick in the nuts, but at the same time, we were old enough and wise enough that we didn't take it to heart or whatever, and we knew that we had a solid enough album in us, and we had a good enough following. We'd done a good bit of touring and that, So we knew that we just weren't going to fade away. We knew that there'd be some label that would be interested in working with us, and so it was. We were confident enough in that respect. With Cruz del Sur, they're a label that I've been following essentially almost since I got into metal. Actually, I traded records with the one of the guys from Pharaoh, which is a really cool US metal band. And I got like albums by While Heaven Wept and Slough-Feg and Argus and stuff. So I really knew what they were doing and always admired what they were doing. And then it was, when the chance came up to work with them, it was a no-brainer. So I think it's a good home for us. I think they're, they pay us the attention that we need. They've got a very forward-thinking approach in terms of streaming music and digital music, which is really cool. But they've also just got a really consistent output. I mean, we've got a lot of albums that Metal Blade put out and a lot of classic albums, but probably do own actually more albums that Cruz del Sur put out, funnily enough. So yeah, it's we're really happy with how it's turned out.
Yeah, they're really cool, man. They send us a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, Slough-Feg, While Heaven Wept, Argus, Atlantean Codex, really cool band.
Yeah.
Dark Forest from the UK. So yeah, they're just they've got a small enough roster, but a really quality roster, and they've never lost sight actually of what the label is about and what they want to do. They've never went down some crazy road like I don't know, metalcore or whatever. Just as the landscape changed, they were just like, you know what, we're a heavy metal label and this is what we'll do, and you know what, we're a heavy metal band. So it's a really cool partnership with them.
Right on, man. Now the artwork on the album, how did you guys come up with that? Was that the artist, or did you guys?
It was kind of a sort of a collaboration. It was a guy called Costin from Romania, and we were actually put in touch with him from the Dread Sovereign guys. So he just done their artwork and a bunch of other stuff, and he's a really impressive artist. And we sent him some of the songs, and he said, "Look, I totally want to do this." The songs just clicked with him straight away, which is really cool. And he, at first I actually thought he was just being polite, but it sort of became apparent from subsequent emails that he genuinely really connected with the material. To the point where, so I sent him Beyond the Grey Veil, which is thematically the sort of centerpiece of the album. The themes and stuff in that song are sort of central to everything else that's going on. And we gave him a rough sort of a briefing, a rough idea of what we were after, but he basically told us that the art that he came up with then was literally what he felt guided to do when he listened to the song. So that's basically what you're seeing in the artwork there is that song and those themes as the artist felt they should be. And we thought it was just fantastic. So really pleased with how that collaboration turned out. Really cool guy, really talented guy. Can't wait to get it on vinyl just to see it,
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is it going to be available on vinyl?
Yes, definitely. That's another cool thing about Cruz del Sur. They always do vinyl releases. With Metal Blade, they did a CD release, which was cool, but we had to look elsewhere for the vinyl, so we ended up putting our first album out with High Roller on vinyl. But Cruz del Sur, they're releasing Severance on vinyl. It'll be, the release date's the same, but the actual shipping of the vinyl, I think, will be the end of June for anybody that orders. But it's a double gatefold. It's a really beautiful package by the look of it. So it's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. Now, the name Darkest Era, how did you guys come up with that? What does that mean to you?
It's sort of just, we were originally called Nemesis when we formed in school, which was, kind of maybe a little bit generic, but there's just tons of bands called Nemesis. It was my first band kind of name. Yeah. Candlemass were called Nemesis, for example, before they changed their name, probably for the same reasons. But it just, again, we wanted something that wasn't too, made you think of one particular thing straight away. Like, we didn't want a name that sort of said this is a a straight up heavy metal band, or this is a folk metal band, or this is a an Irish metal band. We wanted something that would allow us the breathing room to take our sound wherever way we may see fit. So Darkest Era, the phrase sort of just evoked a certain kind of vibe and atmosphere that we felt suppose summed up where we were taking the songwriting and whatever. So that was basically it. There's nothing else behind it really apart from that.
Okay. Well, so what are you guys' plans right now for the future as far as touring or anything like that?
Well, we've just announced a UK tour, which is happening at the end of September, and we're really excited about that. That's our first ever headline tour of the UK. So that's going to be really cool, just to do our own show there, Then hopefully in the late winter or early spring, we'll be going around Europe again. But I mean, we'd love to get to the US, like absolutely. But it's it's the same old story. It's just very expensive for bands these days. Like for example, last year, I'm sure you heard about the trouble that In Solitude sort of ran into with finances, just with was it Inland Revenue or something. So it's just very expensive for European bands to get over there. So the first chance we get, though, we would love to tour the States. So that's something we're looking at, maybe more medium term, whenever our profile is built a little bit more, on this side of the pond. But just more touring really. We'll have a video coming out actually in a couple of weeks, which we're looking forward to. That's just before the release of the record. But pretty much the rest of this year will be spent tours, one-off winter festivals, and sort of starting to write bits and pieces for the next album.
Right on. Well, Aid, where can all your fans, the listeners out there listening, do you guys have a main website or a Facebook that they can go to find out everything?
Yep. We've got a Facebook, website, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, MySpace, like pretty much everything where you could find us. If you just stick Darkest Era into Google, you'll get us. But I mean, the Facebook, which is just facebook.com/Darkest Era, that's updated by all of us pretty regularly. So you'll find all of our info on there, and just click like and come say hello.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Ada, I guess I'm about out of questions here. Is there anything you'd like to tell the listeners and your fans out there?
No, just check us out. Hope you like the new album, and hopefully we'll be on a stage somewhere not far away from you pretty soon.
Well, I'm definitely going to play the shit out of this record on Metal Devastation, dude, for sure.
Cool. Much appreciated. That's awesome.
Before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag?
Yeah, sure. What is it?
Just say this is Aid Mulgrew from Darkest Era, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Cool. This is Aid Mulgrew from Darkest Era. You're listening to Metal Devastation Radio. Rock.
All right, dude. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for taking the time, Aid. And
yeah, no worries at all. Glad you're liking the album.
Yeah, man. Hopefully in the future we'll see you guys over here in the U.S. I'll definitely try to make it to a show.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. We'll do everything we can to make it happen. So yeah, sure. I mean, we'll